Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And today's topic is an interesting subject. I've got an email question here from a woman who is she's dating a guy, and apparently this particular guy is also in a long-distance relationship with another woman. But apparently he doesn't talk to this other woman very much, and it doesn't really seem, at least as far as the person who wrote me the email seems to think, she doesn't think it's very serious between him and this other girl. So let me read you her email. It says, "Hi Coach Corey, I follow you on Twitter and I want to ask you something that has confused me for a while. Jeff is in a long-distance relationship with Sue, but they hardly talk. He then meets Pearl and falls for her. They go on dates, talk business, spend time together. He calls her all the time. They visit and open up to each other. But then when Pearl thinks it's wrong, he agrees and says that because he respects her, he would never lead her on, and that if he were to break up with Sue, it would be entirely out of choice and not because of anything, I guess, that Pearl did. I have two questions. Actually, there's three of them written down here. Number one, is he just holding on to this girl because he knows he will never leave her? That's a good question. This happens actually quite often where men and women both do this. They carry on affairs, whether it's outside a relationship, whether it's a marriage, or maybe, I've even seen it in some cases where you have arranged marriages and things of that nature. So it's definitely a possibility that he may be giving you the impression that that's usually what these guys typically say, is that, well, it's not really going well with their wife, or they're going to get divorced, or we don't really have much of a relationship, or we got married when we were very young because it was an arranged marriage and she allows me to have my fun. I've heard all kinds of excuses like that. So the thing that you got to look at is that you're dating a guy that's also in a relationship with someone else. And so you got to keep in mind is that you're basically the other woman, whether he's married to this person or it's just a long-distance relationship. So the second question that she has here is, why would he give Pearl, I assume that Pearl is her, so much attention and treat her like she's a girlfriend if he already has one? Is it to fill the loneliness? It's possible. Like I said, typically what I see in these cases is that for whatever reason the guy doesn't want to, whether it's a security blanket or he's been married to this person forever, she's the mother of her children, or maybe it was an arranged marriage and it has something to do with cultural norms that he can't divorce her or won't leave her or whatever. So those are things to consider. And the third question here is, why do men do that in the first place? And why do you think women allow this? Do you think it is out of loneliness? Now those are some interesting questions. It's like, so why do women allow this? Why do women continue to go out with guys that they know is either married or in a relationship with someone else? Well, it's obvious they hope that eventually this other person that they happen to be dating or married to, that they'll go ahead and divorce them, and then the person that's carrying on an affair will then get to be with them full time and take their place. I've just heard countless stories, emails all the time from people where they may dated a guy or been involved for several years, and he keeps saying he's going to leave his wife, and then he says he's going to, and then he's kind of left her, and then all of a sudden he goes back to her and stays with her. It's quite common that you see things like this. So the question you got to ask yourself is, what do you want out of the relationship? If everything is great, other than the fact that he has another relationship going on the side, you're either going to have to put up with it if you're going to stay involved in a relationship with him, or you're going to have to move on and have the guts to go it alone until you meet somebody new who is available and who's not tied down in a relationship. And like I said, a lot of times why people, it's not only women do this, but men do the same thing as we stay dating someone. It's like, years ago I wrote about in my book, when I was married, deep down inside, it's like I didn't want to get a divorce, but I knew also that my heart was telling me to go in a different direction. And so I had the guts to finally leave. When you look at the numbers, they're not very good. Figure 3 out of 100 couples really have a great relationship. And then our divorce rate's 50%, and so that leaves, what, 47%? And 9 times out of 10, those other 47%, they're unhappy and they're miserable, but they're usually just not miserable enough, or they just simply don't have the guts to leave and go find somebody who's ideally suited for them. So if you find these messages I provide of value to you, you can go down to the, if you're watching this video on my website, along the Wibbia bar at the bottom, there's a PayPal donate button. You can click on that and donate any amount that you think is equal to the value that you receive from this video or any other articles that are on my website. If you got a question that you'd like for me to consider answering, also on the page there's a link there, the email address, if you want to send me a question that I can possibly have get answered for you. And at the very least, if you enjoy these articles, newsletters, videos, and my ebooks and things that I put out, share them with your friends and family. We've also got Facebook share buttons, LinkedIn share, Twitter share buttons, so you can share them on your social networks. So I will talk to you soon.